From WLWT, this is Issues.
Hello, welcome to Issues. I'm Jan-Michele Lemon Kearney of SESH Communications and the Cincinnati Herald. We have a really great show today. A little later, we're going to talk about the USO tribute in Cincinnati, something you don't want to miss because they are honoring the men and women who serve our country. Also, it's time to get ready for the Midwest Regional Black Family Reunion. So much fun, 3 days of culture, fun. You don't want to miss that. So we're going to talk to Tracy Artis about that. First, we're going to talk about a really serious and really rather upsetting topic, and it's about youth suicide, but we're going to talk about prevention. And so let me introduce Dr. Marilyn Crumpton, who is our health commissioner for the city of Cincinnati, and Dr. Daniel Nelson, who's a child psychiatrist at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
So I'm so glad you're here. And we were talking before about how the hotline that you gave last year was just, burning up, like so many calls. And it sounds like suicide is on the rise with young people. Is that true?
That's true across the country. It really is. And young people are actually having more challenges than what we see with adults, where the suicide rate's actually been dropping.
Oh, so the suicide rates for older people is coming down. So why is it rising for youth?
Well, one of the things that we're trying to look at is what are the causes, and we know based on a lot of research that's being done right now that there are many adverse childhood experiences that our children are being subjected to. The term is ACEs, and that's one of the things we know is our children are in a very high stress situation in many situations.
Now, ACEs, what does that mean?
So it's adverse childhood experiences, and it's traumatic events that we know are going to create stress in a child's life.
And do you think maybe, is there a correlation with the rise in drug use? Like, we're having that huge opioid problem, but that's across the country, but more so here. Is that affecting the suicide rate, do you think?
Well, high ACEs is actually correlated even to increased health problems throughout life. So children who undergo, like, witnessing a crime, such as a murder, children who've been physically or sexually abused, even going through divorce or other traumatic types of events, increases the risk for brain disease, mental health, but also physical health. So an increased incidence of childhood illnesses such as asthma or other stressful illnesses. So we really try to pay attention to getting children who are challenged by adverse events in their family life or in their community life, get them help and support. Certainly suicide is another factor for that.
Well, so for teachers and parents and friends, what kinds of symptoms or behaviors should we look for? Go ahead. Well,
the biggest concern we have when it comes to suicidal behavior is usually depression or sometimes bipolar illness. Both those illnesses are associated with it.
Tell us about bipolar.
So bipolar is an illness that involves not just depression that's associated with suicidal behavior, but also having an increase in energy, thoughts going quickly, and often that can lead to enough dysregulation in the brain that the person can become psychotic and lose touch with reality. They begin to think they have special powers and they can do things. And in
they
children,
almost act kind of manic.
Yeah, manic is the term. Bipolar and manic depression are really the same term for the same illness, the same brain disease. In children, often what you see, unlike adults who might, like I had one patient as an adult who told me he had played in Wimbledon, the Super Bowl, and the World Series.
And had he been in any of those?
No, he was not. But he really believed that he did, and that's how he saw himself, and he conducted himself that way. In children, it's more likely that they stop listening to adults. They begin to think they can do anything. They don't follow the rules, and they tend to have a marked degree of irritability, and they can quickly become violent and out of control. And that violence or aggression can be turned inward into suicidal behavior, destructive behavior.
Wow, so those are things we should look for in young people.
And the other thing to remember is with children, not all children are giving us signs. So it's great to always know how at risk their circumstances are and be sensitive to looking for signs and concerns. And one of the things that, for example, that Cincinnati Public has done is partnered with MindPeace, which is a organization you've had here on your show.
Right. Susan came on and talked about MindPeace. That was great.
Yeah, and so what that has done, partnering with the community mental health agencies, Children's Hospital, that mental health services have been made available inside all the Cincinnati public schools. And now that is expanding beyond Cincinnati public, and I think it'll be pretty widely spread soon, right?
Yeah, they're moving up to Hamilton as well, and Susan and I met last week with the Archdiocese.
Oh,
we have
wonderful.
the 6th largest Archdiocese in the country, 42,000 children. And they've also been challenged by suicidal behavior. So it's the public schools have been challenged, and the partnership is real important. We've gone to the public schools. Some of the public schools have been more challenged than others. Some of the elementary schools have met with tragedy, as well as middle schools and high schools.
We've seen some of that in the news recently. And you know, just for teenagers, for example, who hear their friends talk about suicide, often they're told, don't tell anybody. Like, you know, here's what I'm thinking, but I don't want you to tell anybody. Shouldn't they go tell the parents? I mean, do they feel like they should have permission to go and tell an adult or a teacher?
It's a safety issue. So the message, I guess the most important message we feel like we need to get out is, if anyone expresses any comments that make us think that there might be a risk of suicide, tell someone that can help. If you're a child, go to an adult, talk with them. Don't stop until someone who's going to respond and find out if that risk is imminent makes an appropriate intervention, because that's how we save lives.
And let's give a phone number, because there's also a hotline. I think it's to Children's Hospital. So tell us that number, Dr. Nelson.
So it's called the PERC number, the Psychiatric Emergency Response Center number. Now that would be for a very severe acute response where you feel a child's really in trouble.
Okay.
If you have questions, it's really lovely to go to the MindPeace website, because
you know what? Now let's talk about the Youth Suicide Prevention line, just because it's up on the screen.
Well, that's our local line. That's
the
actually
local
for
line.
Children's Hospital.
Okay.
There's a national suicide line that you can pull off of the internet, and I think Marilyn has the phone number here for the National Suicide Support Line.
And you know, let me just interrupt for a second. So for those listening on the radio, because we haven't said the number out loud, but it's 513-636-4124. That's Youth Suicide Prevention, the local hotline, 636-4124.
Now that would be for a child who's in acute crisis. You need to get them in the hospital right away.
Okay.
If it's not acute, then calling agencies like Lighthouse, St. Joe's, St. Al's, all these local agencies. And then MindPeace has an excellent web page. So does the National Center for School Crisis and Bereavement. And the National Suicide Hotline is 800-273-8255.
Okay, 800-273-8255. Okay, thank you so much, both. You'll have to come back. Really important topic, and thank you for sharing that information with us. Really important.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Stick with us. We'll be back in a minute to talk about the USO tribute. There is a great organization, and I know you're familiar with it, the USO, serving the men and women who serve our country, who are serving us. And so let me introduce to you two folks who are organizing a USO Tribute Cincinnati fundraiser, and it's Dwayne Hickerson, who is a Marine. Dwayne Hickerson. Okay, you're Dwayne Hickerson. I'm sorry, I got you two mixed up. All right, this is Dwayne Hickerson, and you are with USO Tribute Cincinnati.
That's right.
And then Michael Logue, and you're actually co-chair of the Cincinnati Tribute, and you are a former Marine.
Yes,
but I guess once a Marine, always a Marine.
That's right.
There's no
That's
such thing as a
absolutely
former Marine. Simplify.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Always a Marine.
Well, welcome both of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about the USO, because we were talking with Diana Lara earlier, and how so many people think, well, the government gives you money. Is that right?
No, it's a total charity, 501c3. All of our dollars are from corporate donations and private citizens. So we're always looking for monies in order to do the good that we think we do.
Right. And just going back to the history, so it's been around since
1941.
Right.
It was a group of charities at the time, and then
Okay.
it is now just the USO. And we have charter centers all over the country. We have over 200 centers globally.
Wow.
We have exclusive access to all the military installations and personnel, which allows us to provide the services that the military needs. and it's.
And let's talk about some of those, because I mean, we know. I think when most of us think about USO, we go back to like Bob Hope over there with the shows and all that, and that's really important. But there are also some medical things. Walter Reed Hospital. Tell us about that, Michael.
Yeah. So. You know, talking about it from service members' perspective, the USO to myself, whether soldiers, sailor, airmen, and Marines, it's an extension of home. And when you're further deployed somewhere in the world and you see a USO center or package, you know something wonderful is inside. You know, in my case, if it's, you know, your first shower in 45 days and there's a shower kit inside, you know, or local artwork from a kindergarten in your hometown, it's really tremendous. And it's tremendous because the USO volunteers, they really care and they treat you like their family because they know that we're America's family. So as this comes, you know, from the USO being strategically located at places for service members, when they deploy, it's the last piece of home that they see, and when they come home, it's the first piece of home that they see. And for some of, you know, for some of our service members, so myself, we served with Lima Company out of Columbus, Ohio, a group of local Marines. 184 of us deployed in 2005, and we did great work throughout the Al-Anbar province in Iraq, but it came at a cost.
And thank you for your service. Yeah,
so
we really,
my absolute honor to be able
that.
to serve. Trust me, it's my absolute honor to serve.
I mean, it's a huge sacrifice, and just.
The big sacrifice that I've seen is on the families. So out of the 184 Marines that deployed locally, 24 were killed. I'm sorry, and another 27 were wounded. And you know, for our most severely wounded, they begin a medical evac trip that, for most of them, ends at Walter Reed or Fort Belvoir, and that's where our nation's most severely wounded is. The average stay is 30 months. So if you think about any time you've ever been in the hospital,
30 months.
Yeah.
Oh.
You think of any time you've ever been in the hospital for one night, two nights, and your family is visiting.
Yeah.
So those are the tremendous services that the USO is strategically there to be on site at Walter Reed and Fort Belvoir. And Dwayne can tell you about the construction and what we did building into the warrior centers there to support the families.
Our monies from USO Tribute Cincinnati helped build 2 new warrior centers, one at Fort Belvoir and one at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center.
That's fantastic.
And these are beautiful facilities. They have art rooms, music rooms, and so our returning men and women that are struggling can photography, painting.
Well, let's just say this, so people can see all the great things USO is doing, and we have a chance to actually contribute and help by supporting the USO Tribute Cincinnati. Tell us when and where it's going to be, and how do we get it? How do we get tickets?
We have a great event on Sunday, September 3rd, at the Boathouse.
Yeah, Montgomery and Boathouse.
Montgomery and Boathouse.
You
can't beat that. It's Riverfest fireworks night.
Oh, fun.
We start at 4 o'clock, and you can get tickets. You can get tickets, USOTributeCincinnati.com.
Okay, USOTributeCincinnati.com, and we'll link people to WLWT.com.
If you have questions, you can email in via that site, and we'll answer everything you need.
So we can come, we can have barbecue, we can watch the fireworks, and we're supporting USO, United Services Organization.
And we honor our military, and we have 5 honorees that we will honor that night.
Oh, okay.
2 from World War II, 1 from Vietnam,
Wonderful.
and 2 active duty military, which we'll announce those in August.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you have to come back in August and tell us, and
okay,
then,
we'd love to do
or
it.
we can announce it. We'll just make sure people get the word out.
Thank you.
Because we really want people to know about that. So it's Sunday, September 3rd, and it's at the Montgomery and Boathouse right on the river, and they can see the fireworks, and oh, that's going to be wonderful. And we'll have to find out who those honorees are. But people can get tickets at USOTributeCincinnati.org.
.com.
USO, okay, let's say it right. USOTributeCincinnati.com.
Yes.
All right, and we'll link you through WLWTCincinnati.com. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you, Michael. Thank you again for your service. Just so wonderful, and we want people to know they have to support USO, because USO supports the men and women who support us, who serve our country. So thank you. Stick with us. We'll be right back with the Black Family Reunion. Hey, welcome back. Okay, so it's time again for the Midwest Regional Black Family Reunion. Started way back in 1989 and still going strong, and you've expanded to 3 days. Tracy Artis, let me introduce Tracy Artis, who is the Executive Director of the Black Family Reunion, and Dr. Odell Owens. Now, why is he here? Because his family is a Black Family Reunion Family of the Year, and so we are so excited, and you guys well deserve it. Just a wonderful family. Marshall, your wife, your two sons, Justin and Chris, and you know Morgan, your daughter. We've had Morgan on. We just love her. So we love all of you, actually. So you're a wonderful family. You've done so much for the city of Cincinnati. So great choice, Tracy.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
tell us what's happening this year.
Oh, it's an exciting year. This is our 29th year. We're back at Sawyer Point, August 19th and the 20th, but on the 18th, Jan, we kick off with our Heritage Breakfast.
Wonderful.
Our Family of the Year will be honored there. That's at Word of Deliverance Church in Forest Park.
Oh, good. Right
And-
on Fresno Drive in
Right,
Forest Park,
693
Bishop Bobby Hilton's church. Just a beautiful place. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Oh, and Jeff is bringing up, as we're talking, Jeff is bringing up for the parade, which is, what, Saturday morning?
Saturday morning at 10 a.m. we kick off from Avondale Town Center, and this year we're going to have Central State's Marching Band. So we're very excited. Last year we had a huge turnout for the parade. Check out our Family of the Year and the parade route as well.
Right.
But it starts at 10 a.m. We have over 100 people that have signed up to be in the parade.
Wonderful.
So I know it's going to be a big one. Cincinnati loves that.
Oh, yeah, it's great. And so
Yeah.
here we're showing some of the events, so some of the exercise pavilions, and tell us about that, Tracy.
We have our health pavilion. UC Health is our presenting sponsor this year. So just look for all of the hospitals to be out, people doing screenings with mammogram trucks. Tri-Health will be there. A lot of Children's Hospital is one of our sponsors. So excited about Health Pavilion area, but we also have the Seniors Pavilion area. We also have Youth and Young Adult. We have the Children's Pavilion that the AKs put on for us every year. So just expect that when you come out to this African American annual legacy event, free, that there will be something for everyone in the park. We're opening up our tennis courts this year. We're going to have 3-on-3 basketball there.
Oh, fun.
So we're just trying to continue to lift the event. Midnight Star is going to be with us on our urban stage Saturday.
Oh, really? Oh, my goodness. No parking on the dance floor.
Right.
Okay.
And then we
Right.
have Grammy Award winning gospel artist Shirley Caesar on Sunday.
Oh, man.
So I'm so excited to see the queen of gospel here in Cincinnati.
That's going to be great. And I know Interact for Health will be down there. Dr. Owens' group, you guys will be down there. And you know, the wonderful thing is people can come and get free health screenings.
Free health screenings.
I mean, men and women for, you know, for prostate cancer, for breast cancer, for diabetes, I mean, blood pressure, all that.
You can do all of that in our health pavilion.
Right.
You can go over to our nonprofit area and engage all the nonprofits here in the city of Cincinnati.
Wonderful.
This is the Midwest Regional Black Family Reunion, so you'll see people from all over the Midwest.
Right.
We've engaged radio stations in the Dayton area. Radio 1 is one of our media sponsors.
Good.
WGRI 1050 AM. If you go down to the AKA's Children's Pavilion, you'll see them doing all kind of exercises with the kids and all kind of programming and crafting. Home Depot will be there. They have a kids zone. The Cincinnati Reds will be there.
Oh, wow.
For the first year ever, we're going to be doing back to school supplies for any kids that are there in the park. Everybody will get a bag filled with school supplies.
That
so
is fantastic.
I'm just excited about it. I just want to make sure that when people come, they feel the love of the family.
Right.
And our theme this year is Committed and Courageous.
Oh, I love that, committed and courageous. And you are. I mean, you really are, Tracy. You do
Thank
such a
you.
great job with this. And Dr. Owens, I mean, you and your family, committed and courageous. I mean, those are two key words for really describing both of you. So I have to ask, will the fish truck be there? Because the first thing I do when I
go
come
there, you go over to the
I go
food
for my
court.
fish, yeah.
Yes, there's
Okay.
all the food sponsors from last year, food vendors from last year back, and we have brought some new ones on as well. So it's going to be
Really?
a lot of fun.
Oh, I love it. It's so much fun. You see people you haven't seen all year long.
Right.
So it's fun. There's exercise. There's music, and then information, and then health screenings, and
Right.
yeah, just I mean it's a huge party, and it's
It
so
is.
it's August 19th and 20th. But on the 18th at the Heritage Breakfast, tell us who the speaker is.
Dr. Charles Booth. Again, it's the Midwest Regional Black Family Reunion, so we've engaged people from all over the Midwest. He's the pastor of Mount Olivet Church. Phenomenal speaker. You don't want to miss him.
Okay, and that's free. We want to tell people they need
Everything
to
for
make
the
sure
entire
they're there early,
weekend is
though.
free.
Okay.
Doors open at 8, And at 8:30, the Heritage Breakfast will begin at Word of Deliverance Church. Then we also have our job fair at Sharonville Convention Center.
Wonderful.
And last year, thousands of people came out.
Right.
So please, you don't want to miss that. Go over to Sharonville Convention Center immediately after the breakfast. At about 11 o'clock, the job fair will kick off.
That's fantastic. And okay, give us the rundown. Jeff said, so the parade on Saturday, 10 o'clock, Avondale Town Center. Go ahead, Tracy.
The BFR celebration at Sawyer Point from noon to 8 on Saturday and Sunday. Our R&B concert actually kicks off with Second Wind, and then Midnight Star will be our headline.
Oh, man.
For our gospel stage on Sunday, there are a lot of groups from the city of Cincinnati and the Dayton area that'll open up for Shirley Caesar. So you don't want to miss the gospel concert. Shirley Caesar hit the stage around 6:30,
okay.
But our main stage will open at 5:30.
And people can come out, grab some food, have a seat, and then the Sunday, so we're having a Sunday service out on the lawn at the main stage.
You know, we used to have just a small pavilion in the park, and when I became the director, I thought the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. We need to be on the main line.
Yes.
So I engaged Pastor KZ Smith, pastor Corinthian Baptist Church. They have a baptism pool there every year. Last year we saw people just get baptized right there at the service.
Oh my
It
goodness.
is phenomenal.
That is
So you
great.
don't want to miss the church service there on the line. And thank you to Pastor KZ Smith and Corinthian Baptist. Thank you to UC Health and all of our sponsors. We couldn't do this event without the sponsors, Jan. Thank you to the Cincinnati Herald.
Oh, we love you all. I mean, just
Thank you
this
so
is
much.
like the best event ever. And I'm so excited that Dr. Owens and his family is being honored because you guys are really phenomenal.
Well, we're very honored.
And you've done,
be honored.
Personally have done so much for the city, from being the fertility specialist. You know, a lot of kids are here because of you, you know, to be in the coroner where you went around really educating our youth. You did all those phenomenal speeches in the schools about, you know, how to avoid, you know, being in the coroner's office, and now Interact for Health, and just, you know, doing great things. So thank you for
And
that.
Cincinnati State.
Former
And
past
Cincinnati
president.
State,
I can't keep a job.
Cincinnati
And a
State.
short trip to the health department.
Right, that's
I can't
right.
keep
Oh
a
my
job.
goodness, your resume is something else. Yes, I jumped over 2 really important jobs that you had. You've done a great job at everything. I mean, you're just like
At
such a
everything.
star,
Yes,
and
indeed.
as is your family. So you guys are great, and we are going to come out and honor you all this year, and it's well deserved. And Tracy, kudos to you because
Thank
you are
you.
just phenomenal.
Thank you so much. I'm just honored to be a part of it.
You're fantastic. All right, so Black Family Reunion, don't miss that. And Kiana, thanks for bringing the guests on. Kiana's out here in the audience. All right, stay with us. We'll be back for some community events. We've got some upcoming events that you don't want to miss. On July 29th, we're going to do Songs of Freedom, a protest and freedom. It's a Black Issues Forum at the Harriet Tubman Theater, right there at the Freedom Center. We've got Lovey Ajayi, who's a famous author. I'm Judging You. We've got Senator Nina Turner's coming, Alicia Reese, Iris Riley, lots of others. It's July 29th, and it's free, but go to Eventbrite and look for Black in America. Also, we have the Cincinnati Midwest Regional Black Family Reunion. You know about that. And save the date for the NAACP Freedom Fund dinner. It's going to be at the Freedom Center, and it's going to be October 21st. And the keynote speaker is Joe Madison. 2 of our interns here, CJ and Brooke. Woo, wave. Stay safe, stay positive.